Let's do that, shall we? Okay. So this is gonna work. This is gonna work. So I was tinkering with my. Hey David. I was tinkering with my bot. It seems to be working right now. We'll see if it's gonna work. I might have to restart my bot, but I put slots on it and dice, so you guys can play that if you guys want. Not seeing it working right now. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. Okay, I don't know if my bot wants to be. Let's just have to restart that. Let's try this again. Yeah, and that, and that, and. Okay, well, anyway. Let's just roll with it because reasons. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go through some coins. I got a box of pennies and a box of nickels. I apologize if I sound like garbage. Definitely not feeling 100% today, but so I'm staying home. I couldn't sleep a lot last night, so that's kind of jacked up, but we're just gonna roll with it, and we're just gonna see how far it goes. So the one thing that I wanted to show you guys before I get started is I did finish these. These are coin dies. This is the dime one. I have a penny one. And I also have, let's see, I've got my quarter, and I should have my nickel right there. Nickel. So I've updated these designs, so they have the key slot in the edges, and also I have them so that they're serialized. So it'll have a serial number on each one. So for each set that I do, they will contain serial numbers sequentially. So I thought that was kind of a cool deal. But yeah, so if you guys want all of these are basically two specifications. So these are basically the exact replicas, obviously blank. The exact replicas of coin dies that are actually used, because I think that with the better understanding of how these are made and used, that can be more about like demonstrations, as far as like if you have two, this is the closest, you have the dies that strike like this, you have the obverse die and the reverse die, and they strike like this, and you have one that is just a little bit off, how what that creates on the coin, those errors that we see, like the misaligned die, is basically something where, let me get close, where you have, oh, it's off like this. So if they're, not exactly on point, like, exactly lined up, then you get a misaligned die strike. And those ones that are misaligned by like a bunch, that those it's just a the education piece. So I do have these available. It takes me about, I think, 4.5 hours to print a full set. For about 5 hours to print a whole set. But I do have these available. If you guys are interested, you can email me at the email below. But I just thought that you guys would like to see those. So I have penny, nickel, dime, and quarter. I do have a full size dollar piece. Not quite to this spec, but this is like my my rough draft version of it. This has got the eagle. I can't do a lot of detail in it because my nozzle size is a 0.4. So if I went down to a smaller nozzle size, I could do much more detail in the top. Like this one just has the eagle and part of the. This is the Sacagawea reverse. But if I had a 0.2 nozzle, then I could do a lot more detail. But it would take twice as long to print out one of these things. So because the nozzle size is smaller. So I would be able to do something like this one, which is also to the specification of an actual mint die, so that I would have basically everything minus the $50. But again, if you guys are interested, let me know, and I can get you some information on that. So I'll set those over here. I've been tinkering with dies for the last week, and then, you know, whenever like I kept on running out of places to put stuff, so I ended up just printing some coin tubes. I got a lid. Yeah, there's my lid right there. That it goes on there. So basically, it's just like one of the clear ones. Only I printed this that I just used for some of my stuff. I think that's neat. Like this one right here. This one turned out a lot better than that one. I got some things. So, but this one right here is actually a full set of these, which is the 2010 Sacagawea. This one is the Great Law of Peace reverse, and I actually ended up getting a full roll of these, so that is also available if you guys are interested in that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, my desk is a mess. David, let's see if I can change that. David. One second, I'm trying to figure out something real quick. I'm going to disconnect that and disconnect that, then reconnect that, and hopefully that will refresh. Maybe. I didn't do anything. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, you guys got at least 10 coins. Hey, Josh. I'm not sure how well my thing is gonna work. Like, I was really tinkering with it. I really wanted to get the slots so that it came up with actual icons. I don't know how well it's gonna show up on YouTube. But like it was showing up on just my console on Streamlabs, kind of okay. So that's what I was going with. But we'll see. We'll play with it and tinker and stuff. I'm at school. No one tell my teachers, even though I'm done with classes. Hey, look at that. Oh, that turned out great. Oh, yeah. Hey, Daryl. Thanks for stopping by, man. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go through coins. There's a little of a cooldown for the slots, because otherwise it would just blow up the chat. But hey, I'm glad the pictures came up though. That's cool. The games that I have, let me run through real quick. I've got slots, I've got dice, I've got gamble. I have heist, duel, free for all, and boss. That's what I have right now. I'm trying to get kind of more into some of the things, just so you know, so you guys can play and whatnot. So other than that, I'm just gonna look through some coins. I got a nickel box and a penny box today. Then I'm just gonna look through. I need like a bigger desk, or I just need to, actually organize my stuff, but I can't seem to figure out how to do either one of that, so, that's the way it's gonna work. But I'll talk for as long as my voice will stay with me. If you guys haven't been to Mantix lately, they just hit 1,000. So make sure and go over and give them some love. That's a big milestone for them, especially here on YouTube. So make sure and send them an email. Go in their stream and drop a thumbs up. That kind of stuff. That's really cool for them. I'm pretty happy for them. They deserve it. They have a good channel. I think we all need bigger desks, especially when it comes to organization. It's like, well, this would be much more organized if it was just bigger. Well, that's my problem is that I would just take up more of the desk than if it was organized. So stuff in my channel. If you guys want to post for each other, I'm down with that, because it's all about the community. But yeah, and it's all about growing the community. And Josh Wright took it all. Let's see, what do I need? There's another thing. There's another thing that I was playing with. Oh man, I don't even know where it's at. I know that. I know. See, half this stuff, I don't even remember how I did it. Like right now, my brain is just not working at all. Hey, but if it's currency, and oh, okay, all right. I'm really happy about those graphics though. They turned out much better than I expected. I'm very happy about that. I was just tinkering with stuff one day, a couple nights ago, and I was like, well, what if I just plug? Because I was trying to look for like custom icons, um, and what if I just plug in these basic like icon things, and they showed up on as far as like the basic icon, but I didn't know how they were gonna translate it across to YouTube, the YouTube chat, but I think it turned out pretty well, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm not gonna change it now. Looks just fine. 1995. Another thing that I will be working on that I'll give you guys the heads up on is I'm looking to unload some of the stuff that I have, just to free up some more space. As far as what I will have available for purchase or auction, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Is um, I'll have a lot of double dies and repunchment marks that I found, some error coins, some better coins like some AU BUs, um, those dollar coins, stuff like that. So I I don't know when that's gonna happen. Soon, I guess. Oh, man, I just feel rough today. It's just one of those days that you'd wake up and you're like, yeah, I don't just go back to sleep for like the next like 6 years. 'Cause that's really what I could use probably right now. 2013, 2018, 2018, 26, 2013. You just gonna gamble the coins away? Well, let me know, cause I can just go in there and just stack a ton of coins. Like, I don't have an issue with that. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the coins. I just thought it was something, something neat to play with. Yeah, it's fun. I like it. Just something to do. I mean, and the other thing that is also kind of neat is that, like, if I go back and I look at the analytics, it inflates the comments section pretty heavily. So I can definitely tell, because I don't live stream that much, because I'm usually working like forever. Um, and so on those videos or those live streams that I have, and there's just there's a ton of comments, then I know that's like, oh, okay, I was definitely running my bot that night, which, it's all good, no worries. 2004 Philadelphia, ooh, rough. 82. And so I'm still kicking myself because long before I knew anything about coins, which, I know enough to get myself in trouble for real right now. But long before that, I really knew as much as I did now. I had a coin. I had a coin that I was looking at. I was like, man, this thing looks weird. And it was like, and I remember telling myself, I was like, hey, this this coin looks like it was stamped twice, and it was something that I could see with the naked eye. And it was in 1995. And well, I was like, well, the double dies only happened in like in the 50s. Like it was, I didn't even know what to look for. And so I'm like, well, I'm gonna hold on to this. So I put it in my pocket, brought it home. I have no idea what I did with it. No idea. And Jen was just like, that could have been that coin. That could have been that coin that is just worth its weight in gold. No idea what happened to it. Hey, MSMB and Amy came in. Hey, Amy. Amy, I was showing this earlier. I don't know if you've been in here a while or not, but so these are the dies from the specs that I got from Robert Lawson. So I have dime, nickel, penny, and quarter in exact replicas, and then I also have the dollar one that I had tinkered with before. The only thing I'm missing is just the $half die. You know, if I can find somebody that has the specifications on that one, then I can make a complete set of dies. But I have the other ones already, already done and ready to go. The other thing that I changed is I also have because this is just my first, basically my first run. I have the little flat edge for the Woodruff key to hold the die in place, and then I also have on the side, I have it serialized. So it'll say CJ, CC, and then 001 or 002, depending on how many of these that I do. So it'll be kind of cool, to get those out. People can have their own serialized die. I think that would be kind of neat, especially when you can take, like, this is diamond penny, but they're pretty close, that you can take like the hands-on of dies are striking like this at 1,000 times a minute or whatever it is, and then when you get one that's offset just a hair or just a little bit, that's what creates the misaligned die, the mad errors, is this kind of striking, so that people can see like, this is the process that actually causes those errors, because we know what the errors look like, because like I've got one right here that's a misaligned die. Where's my screen? So you can see how it's got a heavy rim on this side, and then it's very close to, well, this obverse die right here is misaligned southwest or kind of west, versus the reverse, because the reverse is right on. So it's the obverse die that is actually just shifted over to the left. So, and we see these coins, but now we can see how the coins, how these coins are created with these. So, Josh says, if you designed a stamp with your own thing on it, you could try casting in bronze or brass to make some soft metal coins. I thought about that. I don't know what I want to do with that yet, because there's other ways that I could take it. I could do like making my own PV pennies or whatnot, or that kind of thing. Man, I feel rough. Josh, man, you were just going to town on that bank, huh? Just going to town. So I'm honestly surprised on some of the coins that I get from the bank. In this box so far, I've already had one Canadian. I usually don't find too many Canadians. Maybe about 3 or 4 per box. Um, but there was a box that my son wanted to go through, so I let him go through some of the box. I obviously finished it off because he got bored of it. And in his second roll, he found a 1901 Indian head. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, it takes me, 20, 30, 40 boxes to go through to find an Indian head. And he finds one on a second roll. And then I go through the box, and there was a second Indian head in that box, and it was a 1908. So in this box, there was a 1901 and a 1908 Indian head in this box that he picked out. I'm like, I'm just gonna have you start, picking the boxes and going through the boxes, because you must have the magic touch or something. But it was cool because there was a lot of other things that we found in that box other than those. There is a 90. What is it? 90. I got it. It's somewhere around here. Here, this one right here. This one right here. Oops. So it's a 1994. Nope. Sorry. Yeah. 1994 cracked skull. So this coin has this big fat crack in it. You guys probably won't be able to see it, but I'll kind of point it out to you here. So the crack starts like up here, and it goes all the way across his forehead and all the way down. So I thought that was, and this is one of the ones that my son found. So that's his, and I was gonna try to get it listed on Cuds on Coins, with his name on it. So that would be, something that he could say, this is something that I found when I was, when I was young, and now it's one of those that is, known to exist. Hey, Hunting History, how's it going? Hey, Spitfire Cracker. We're just hanging out. I'm gonna go through some coins if I learn how to talk. Yeah, I'm feeling rough today, so I stayed home, took a nap, and I'm just kind of around right now. So I'm going through a box of pennies. I almost called this nickels. A box of pennies and a box of nickels, just to see what I can find. Generally, I have pretty good luck with the nickels. The nickels in my area are not searched. And I usually find some pretty good stuff. I found some nice toners last time. I found some nice buffaloes and all kinds of stuff. The last box that I did, I found 2 silver nickels, which is pretty awesome to find. I'm lucky enough to find one. But I even 3D printed a tube to put my silver nickels in, because I don't like, I could put them in a full tube, like that one there, but I don't quite have enough to make a full tube out of silver nickels yet. I could probably put together an entire roll if I took all of my other silver nickels out of flips, the stupid paper cardboard ones that I started with. But I don't know. I haven't done that yet for whatever reasons. Yeah, I I actually have I cuz I don't always have like these things like laying around. So sometimes I have to make my own. So there's a half size roll, there's a full size roll. Um okay, you guys are going to love this one. You guys are going to love this one. All right, so here's a half size, here's a full size. This is a full size dollar. Dollar tube, full roll 25. Um, I've got half dollar tubes. I think I've got a dime one floating around here. There's a small dime one. Oh, it's right here. I just have different colors. I have a little dime tube for all my silver dimes, because I rarely get any silver dimes. But yeah, uh, yeah. It's interesting. 3D print you a man? I don't think that I can do that. I'm not sure that that's how that works exactly. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. So I'm just looking through pennies right now. I gotta weigh this 82D small date. I usually do it at the end, because I will weigh any 83s, any 82s, because I have a little thing that I separate out, small date, large date, and zinc and copper. Ooh. Yeah, just 82, 82 and 83 are the only ones that I actually weigh. I know that if I was, really, really wanting to, then, I should just weigh everything. Um, um, yeah. Lost my train of thought there. Yeah, I don't know. It was there and then it's gone. This is life. I mean, oh, okay, there we go. There we go. So, but if I was really serious about finding that one, then I would be weighing everything 83 and up, for the struck on copper planchet. The one thing that I thought about doing that I haven't done, I mean, I've done a little bit, is to weigh out all of the 2009s. So like all of these, because the 2009s are one of those years that that you have the business strikes, which are struck in zinc. But then there was the ones that came in the special sets, like the mint sets, not mint sets, um, prestige premier. I don't know. My brain is fried. That they were actually struck in they were actually struck in copper. So there is the opportunity, just like how you can find silver silver half dollars, like you can find copper 2009s. So that is also something that I would weigh the 2009s, because if you find any of those only came from those special sets. So if that makes any sense to you guys. I do have also a I have this going. It's about right there. And these are all just minor double die reverses. Basically that extra column pieces in like the 97, 98, 99s, 2000, 2001. I think I have one in there from 2005. And I'm just gonna excuse me. I'm just gonna build a whole roll out of them and just sell the roll off. Because there's no point in me trying to attribute every single one, because that would be, whoa, that would be crazy sauce. Crazy sauce. Alright, 1972, looking for doubling, non-hub doubling, I'm not finding it. 2006. I'll tell you, in both the nickel and penny series in 2006, they had something right. They had something right in 2006, because all of the coins from 2006 are just the most pristine coins, like ever. So whatever they did in 2006, they need to be doing all the time. Amy, I am West Coast. I think the Red Book even has the 2009s. Let me check here. Yeah, so right here it even says, oops, get off. There we go. Special versions included in satin finisher collector sets are made of the same metallic composition as was used for the original 1909 cents, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc. So you can find, there is a possibility that you can find the satin 2009s that were struck on copper in circulation. So, but yeah, no, like I got this book. I don't know if you call this one the Red Book. This is what I call the Red Book. But I love this one. The one that I really want though is the Cherry Picker's Guide, but only the big set one. Because I have this one, volume 1, half cents to Jefferson and Nichols. I need the other one. I need the dimes and up. Hey, Mudswap. Mary says, what are the odds set at? For which game? For it depends on the game. Let me check here. Yeah, what game? Is there one particular one that you guys are having issues with? Gamble. Let me check gamble. Okay, there's gamble. Percentage. No. Random. Nope. Miscellaneous. Nope. Jackpot. There's cooldown. Oh, I have 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 winning numbers out of 100. So what is that? 2%? I can't do math. You guys are asking me to do math right now. 5 out of 100. Was that 5%? Okay. Yeah, it's set pretty. Let me see if I can change some stuff here. Let's do this. And let's do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My phone's blown up. Oops. Sorry, just hang with me here. I'm trying to tweak it here. 'Cause reasons. Okay, and number says okay. Okay, I tweaked it. So I don't know how well that's gonna work, but I tweaked it a little bit and see if that helps. I would really love to find one of those 94 with the extra columns in the last vase. That would be pretty awesome. Or an 83 copper. If anybody wants to, send me an 83 copper, that would be much appreciated. Or a 92 cam, or I think I almost have a full set of what 94. There's a 94 Philadelphia. It's a double dot reverse. In the last 2 bays there is extra columns. I believe let me check. I believe it's the cherry pickers. 1994, 1994. Yeah, it's in the cherry pickers guide. 1994 DDR001. It's got extra columns within the final 3 bays. So yeah, see if you can find one of those. It's worth a decent few dollars. So I always flip over the 94s just because I want to find it. That's her. I found a couple of the 2003 double deck reverse, the model. I would love to find some of the other ones, but I can't think. Let me check something. As far as the WAMs, I have. My desk is all blown up. Okay, so this is nope, wrong one. Okay. Okay, so in the WAMs, I should have. I think I'm missing. I don't have a 2000. 2000 WDDR1, DDR. These are all just minor DDRs. It's a greaser. Okay, so I have a 2000 Philadelphia white AM right there. And then I believe I have a 90. I think I'm missing the 99. Maybe I'm missing the 99. Yeah, I'm missing the 99 WAM because I don't have the 99 WAM, but I have 2 of the 98s. So I'm missing the 99 WAM to complete my set of white AMs. White AMs. Oh, I don't like the cardboard ones anymore. I am actually transitioning to plastic ones, because I can put little inserts in them like these right here, and I can put notes and stuff on them. So I am transitioning all my stuff to plastic ones. I think they're a lot easier to use, and they're reusable, which I find specifically appealing, than the copper one, than the not copper ones, than the cardboard ones. Whammer Cam has the fancy G. It depends on which type you're looking for, because the fancy G aspect is what I attribute mostly to the design variety of the 88, 89, because what you're looking for on that one is the 88 with the 89 reverse, and I actually have one of those. And those are very easy to tell because the 89 has such a strong designer's initials, the FG on the reverse, that it sticks out. The 88 has the FG that is really thin and weak. So there was the one that I found. It was an 88. I flipped it over and I looked at it. I was like, wait a minute. There's like a lot of stuff right there. And so I thought, well, maybe I just grabbed an 89. I flipped it back over, and it was an 88D, 88 Denver. So I flipped it back over, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. No, this is the one. This is the one that I'm looking for. And it's the RDV 06, I want to say. So I did actually find one of those. I think I have it over here. 89... 88. Yeah, right here. Yep. It's this one right here. So you can see that it's an 88 Denver right there. So first I'm going to show you an 89. Do I have an 89? Do I have a clean 89? me 1 second. I'll show you what 89 looks like. 80s, where are you? Here, boy. Here's your clean, really good looking. So you can clearly see that it's an 89. Let me grab a... See how there's a lot going on with the FG on this side right here? If that was an 88, that would be really weak. So an example of an 88 would look like... So both these coins are basically BU coins, but see, you see on this one, this is the 88 where you can barely see it, and on the 89 you can clearly see that something's there. So I'll flip these over so you guys can see that this is actually an 88D. So on the 88D, it should look exactly like this one. So then we go back to, so remember this is the 89 where it's got all that stuff right there. So now we look at this 88 that we've already shown is clearly an 88. And see how it's got all that FG right there? Yeah, that's the incorrect design. Or no, I'm sorry, not incorrect design. This is the proof reverse that was used on the 88s and the 88 Denvers. So that's what you're looking for, is that reverse that carries that heavy FG. Pull my chat back up. There we go. Okay. So, I hope you guys saw that pretty well. But that's why I always flip over my 88s, because I know I'm looking for that edge, you know, where the FG is, that there's going to be a bunch of stuff going on. So I just have to look for that that area. But like another thing that I don't look for, and I could, but it would take me, you know, much longer to get through a box, is that there is basically every single year prior to 1989 that has the possibility of an RPM, of a repunchment mark, which is crazy sauce if you think about it. But after 89, they were not punched into the dies directly. They were designed that way on the dies themselves, so that you didn't have repunched, you didn't have punched min marks. And that's important, that, you know, basically if you have any kind of distortion on the mint mark, then you know if it's post 89 that it is probably a machine done one. What's up, Mutswat? We're just talking. I'm just talking about stuff. I'm just rambling. I'm going through some pennies right now. Hoping that you guys are all good luck, and that I'm gonna find a smoking of a coin here. So I got my bot up so you guys can play games and hang out. Hang out, enjoy, relax, have some fun, chillax. talk about coins. Talking about coins, looking at coins. Can't hardly use chat. Is there something going on with chat? Some of the bot channels run way too many games. Yeah, I only have a few, but you know, I just do it for fun, and I don't think I don't think that mine is overwhelming, in the sense of that I don't stream that much. But I mean, if you guys have another opinion, then by all means, let me know. Oh, my chat is fine. Yeah, no, I totally get where you're coming from, man. Because some of the channels, it's like it's all bot all the time, and you cannot, like, you can't use it as a chat. Nickel reference cheat sheet. Nickels. Really, what you can do for nickels is basically anything newer than 60. You're looking for full steps, 60s and 70s. There is squat from like mid 60s all the way up into 2004. So all that, just don't even waste your time. The ones to look for, as far as the newer ones, are obviously like the 2009, because it's a low mint, and then the 2004 and 2004 Philadelphia Buffalo Reverse. For it's got possible doubling on the date. The 2004 Buffalo Reverse Denver, for spearing on, which is a die gouge on the Buffalo on the reverse. There's a 2005, I believe it's Peace. Philadelphia, or maybe it's 2004. Peace, Philadelphia, the same thing with the possibility of a double die on the date. But yeah, other than just like those basic things, like there's nothing in the modern nickels. Like in the Philadelphia, anything newer than my brain is gone. Anything newer? Oh, like the new modified Jefferson, they call it, which is the one starting with either 2008 or 2009, that has that different design. You can especially on the Philadelphias, you can find a lot of die chips on the E and Liberty on the face, and then on the reverse, just die chips in some of the words. But other than that, there's nothing. There's nothing to be found. There's nothing that's been found yet. I mean, I think that especially with the design. Ooh, I got 1963 Canadian in here. The way that the nickels are designed, there's so little like stuff going on, that there's nothing to be found. if that makes any sense. Like the design is pretty plain. It's not like that it has like a lot of, you know, devices and stuff where die chips and errors and stuff can hide, but yeah, it's just not there. I do like, though, that the Mint is trying um, to do something similar, um, similar to. Sorry, hold on. I need to collect my thoughts for a second. The Mint is trying to do something on the nickels that is similar to the America the Beautiful, the states, so that each state would have um, its own nickel, so that each state would have its own nickel and its own quarter. I think that's cool because, you know, that's one of those things that they are trying to um, get that effort, you know, that reboost of coin collecting back into, as far as the demand. I have a couple of books up here that are empty of the Canadians, because I was going to go back through and build another set, because I literally just have this giant thing filled with just all of the Canadians, no matter how garbagey they are, that I need to go through. Do, 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 2006. I would I would agree. And I know that's how some of the Mint designers also feel. I mean, just in regards to our coins, because there's so many hoops and stuff that they have to jump through. It's almost like that they are that, you know, it's taking the art out of our coinage. And I know that's how some of um, the art the designers feel at the Mint, that they want the art back on our coins. So as far as, you know, what we're gonna do um, in regards to that, I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But I would like to get some more art back on the coins, you know, because you know, some of the older coins are just, you know, they're just a lot to um, and like the Morgans, like I can't turn down a good Morgan, just because the way that it looks. I mean, there's so much definition in it, and there's so much relating to the coin, versus, you know, like this 2017. Okay, there's Abe. It says Lincoln, and on the back there's a giant shield. Okay, that's it. Like that's plain. Other than Canadian coins, I don't care much for foreign coins because I may have to cash out one day, and China dollar won't help me. Yeah, I do. I'm building a world collection because I think it would be cool for my son to have a world collection. Um, David says, I found a die chip on the left side of Monticello in 2018 in different die states. Um, they may not be worth much, but if you can find like the sequence that kind of shows like how the die state and how that chip develops, and then basically kind of put together just a set of that. There are some collectors that will that it, they will they will buy it from you. because it shows the die progression. Because some people are just into that. $19.89. Looks like a good coin. Except for all that up there. There's that fancy FG with all the stuffs on it. Okay, next. Less than 3. There's another 2009. I wouldn't mind finding one of those 97 double ears or the 84 double ears. But the 97s have a couple of things going on with them. They have the possible double ear on the obverse, and they also have doubling on the knees on the reverse. That would be really neat, David. Honestly, I mean, as far as my perspective, just because I like to see, how things, go. The other thing is that if you can, is it already listed on Cuds on Coins? Because that might be another thing that you can do to, is get really good pictures and send it to Cuds on Coins and get it listed. Because I know I found one on a 95, and it's a die chip, which is like the BIE in the 50s, only was a 1995, and I had one that was literally in between the two that were currently listed. So I got some good pictures and I sent it to him, and he listed it to go in between those. So I have a listing on Cuts on Coins now, which is I think is really cool, because I want to be a cool kid. That's why. I want to be a cool kid. I'd like to find a really good 72 double die obverse. I have a couple of them that are pretty good, but they're not like MS state. That's for sure. They're brown and they're tore up, and that's just the way it works. Yeah, the early 70s have really nice pennies. I wish I could get my son interested in it too, and it's some people just have that they find something interesting, and something clicks. Sometimes it just doesn't, and that's okay though. But as far as I like the history behind it. I mean, that's kind of what's more important to me. Is understanding, why. And this is an idea that I had for a video. Anyway, is to go through some of the ones that are known, like the 55s and the 55 double die, the 69. And the ones that everybody knows, but then really dig into why these coins are valuable. Instead of just saying, hey, this coin is worth, $5,000, you can find this $5,000 coin in your pocket. Maybe. Possibly. I mean, the odds exist, yes. But realistically, are you gonna find a 1995 double die obverse and MS 69 condition in your pocket? No, you will not. But I think that to kind of back up those those claims, that we really need to take a look at understanding why these things are valuable. What makes these as valuable as they are? Well, they're mint errors. Okay, we know that. But why? Why does a mint error, run 5 figures? Like, what? No, is it the quality of the strike? Is it a is it a limited, I can't think, limited production? Is it a conditional rarity? Is it like what really what really, what's the reason behind it, the understanding behind it? Why people want to coin roll hunt down? I don't understand. It's peaceful. Like, they want to downplay it, or they... What are you asking? Oh, okay. A lot of it has to do with understanding. A lot of it has to do with, and not a lot of it, but I know a part of it has to do with with jealousy, actually. Um, the jealousy of, well, that one person can find it, so why can't I? And then when they don't find it, they just get frustrated because it's like this thing that, people are just like, well, they're getting that, and I should be able to get it just as easy. And they don't see all of the, you know, all of the stuff behind the scenes. The going through, 6 boxes a day on pennies to find that one, or, that they've been coin roll hunting for, 11 years and finally got that one. But people get stuck on that. Well, they just looked in a roll, or looked in pocket change, and just found it. And I should have that too. And that's not the case. There's a lot of things that you need to take into account. The odds of it, the quality of the coin, the way it's been circulated, circulation routes, and years of history. There's so many things to consider. If I can find a coin that has an RPM, or has a double die, I am thrilled as heck, because I know that this coin has existed thus far and has not been found and kept by anyone else, theoretically. And to find this, and it's really the thrill of the chase on why that I look through. That I look through coins. I like finding stuff. I like understanding where this stuff is coming from. What causes these double dies. That's kind of really what, why that I wanted to recreate the dies, is so that, people could have the hands-on, the hands-on education tools of, we know the coins. There's bunches of people, and we know all these coins and all this stuff, and like, we know what to look for, and we know all the errors, we know all the varieties, and okay, but what causes it? And that's where we get stuck. Yeah, 55 double die would be absolutely fine. There was the lady that did actually find the 1969 S double die, found in coin roll hunting. Rough condition, but you know it's still graded out pretty well. Um, you know, and it's still like a $500 coin, but still, it's like, you know, think about finding those, even those small ones, right? The uh, the minor double dies, the minor the RPMs, like, and finding, what if you, like, you know, taking the time, what if you found an unlisted unknown RPM on something? What would that mean to you if you found a discovery piece? Not because you were necessarily looking for it, but what if you just happened across it? That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic to find something like that. I'm not expecting that to happen, but you know, that would be the greatest thing that I could ever do in regards to um in regards to coin roll hunting, or anything as far as the hobby goes. Um, well, I look through every coin. Um, Basically, there's a lot of years and stuff that I just bypass because there's either something so minor that I'm not gonna look at it, or I know that there's nothing big that I can find in it. Like, I don't even look at any of the shields unless it's a Philadelphia, because I hate looking at shields. I hate it so very much. But as far as what I keep, I generally would keep anything older than 1958. So almost basically all wheats. A lot of the 58s though, especially like the D's, um, they're jacked up. So I usually just toss them back. If they're super, like, super gross, I won't keep them. I'll throw them back at this point, because I have an entire thing of 40s, and I have an entire container of 50s that are all separated out. So like, if I was gonna put a book together, then I would just go through what I have. I don't need to put basically coal in a book. I'm just gonna toss that back. So um, I don't keep any coppers. So what I have right now is basically I've got these. So I've got one of these for each decade. And some of them I have split between Denver and Philadelphia. But basically, once I hit this point, if this is full, I'll go through this entire year and start getting rid of the ones that have small imperfections. So like um, split plating, carbon spots. I'll start dumping those. Just because there's no need to keep that much on hand. The reason why I started using one of those is because I was gonna put books together for people, and I got no interest in that aspect of it. So I'm just gonna start unloading my coins. I have thought about, hold on, can't tell if that's a scratch or a crack. No, it's a scratch. Dang it. I have thought about like putting them in rolls, and selling them as you know, like AU, BU, um, full year rolls. Because most of those I have not looked through significantly for errors. So there could be an RPM, there could be a double die on any of those. I haven't looked, because that was not my intention when, you know, I picked out those coins. I picked out those coins because of their condition. How would you paint your coins? I like those containers. They work very well for what I intended them to use. And the fact that it's got 10 slots in it, which means that I can put an entire decade into it. Not all the pieces or all the sections are the same size, so there, you might get one that just has smaller in it, but I feel that they are pretty easy to work with, and you can fit an entire decade into it. And if you really wanted to go like the extra step, you could have a GB. You could have one container for Philadelphia and one container for Denver, so that if you were going to separate them out like that, then that way you could, if you're looking for a particular one, that's, you know, you can, instead of sorting through the same year. Spitfire, you can find them at Lowe's and Home Depot. You can even get them online. The brand is there's a couple of brands that you can get them from. But yeah, Lowe's and Home Depot stock them in stock. So that small one is like I want to say $3. So they're pretty cheap. You pick them up relatively easily. No matter what they say, huh? You know what? I don't pretend to be anyone. Like I am me, and this is what I am. I have no need for chaos or drama or anything like that. It's just ain't nobody got time for that. Cook? No. I talked to one. I do remember things. Maybe you guys might know. There was somebody who wanted 5 Michigan inserts. I posted on one of my videos or something, and I said, "Yeah, I got those, and have those done in like, you know, like a few hours." And I have no idea who it was. So if that was you and you're watching this, I still have these. If you want them, I did a 10 piece set for Silver Mayhem. 10 states so far. Sounds like that they're gonna do the entire 50 state. But the cool thing is that I can just go and I can just print out whatever state, because I have all of the designs already done. And like the funny thing is that they were so adamant. They're like, I want 5 Michigan ones. Can you do 5? And I'm like, yeah, I can do 5. I can do whatever you want. And then they kept on going. I'm like, yeah, just email me. Never emailed me. They are not free. They are very cheap though. Took my allergy medicine. I've forgotten to take my allergy medicine for like, I don't know, like a week, and it is kicking me right now. Where did you get them? For what, the inserts? I made the inserts. Yeah, I 3D print these inserts. I'll take one out and show you guys. I have all of the states. These are specifically for the state quarters. So you put your quarter in here, and then hold on. Ouch. My bad. Okay, so this is what I got. So I use these things right here. I'm gonna switch screens. These are 2x2 acrylic inserts and acrylic holders, and you take the foam out and you put this in there. So you put your quarter in there, then you put the insert, so you have a 2x2 with a coin in it. It looks something like this. So this Oregon with a BU quarter in it. It's got my name at the bottom right here, CJs Coins Crafts. But something like that, it's where it's got the outline of the state and the state quarter in it. So I thought it was just a really cool idea that I had. Yeah, I mean it turned out awesome. So I have all 50 states for the state quarters. So I keep these around. I have some of these still that I've completed in holders over here, but you know, these things relatively cheap. I only charge $1 for one of these, which is really cheap. And it's got my name at the bottom. But the other thing is that if you wanted something like this that you wanted to put into a 2x2, that is something other than a state quarter, it could be a penny. It could be a nickel, a dime, a $50, whatever. If you wanted to put it into a 2x2, I can custom design these. So you can put whatever you want on these. Georgia quarter variety. I would have to remind myself what. I'm not really into quarters. What's the Georgia quarter look like? Let me Georgia quarter. Let's see what it looks like. No, not quarterback. I said quarter. Georgia quarter. There's I don't know anything about like the state quarter. Nothing that that's really off the top of my head. Canadian pennies? BG, is that what you're looking at? Oh, hold on. Oh, sorry. Hold on, guys. Just give me a minute. Okay. Sorry about that. Wow. Ooh, yeah, like I said, allergies got me all kinds of rough right now. Yeah, I muted it for a second. You guys don't need to hear me over here dying and blowing my nose and whatnot. I'd rather sound like that I can actually, you know, like, breathe and stuff. It's, like, the sneezing, it just depends. Because I've had sneezes where I'm like, you know, like, I feel like that I just blew an aneurysm in my head and I'm just miserable for it. 68. Oh, I thought I saw repunched on it. And now there's nothing there. Okay. Game, set, match. It's just, sometimes it does. Sometimes it's just like, you know, clearing up your sinuses and just be like, hey, look at that. I can breathe again. This is awesome. I like to breathe. It's pretty cool. 2012. It was a good 2001. And it's been a while since I found those minor double die reverses. I had one where I found like, I don't know, 6 in a box, and now I can't find any. Don't understand. I haven't really kept a whole lot out of this box, and I'm about a quarter of the way through this box. That's kind of surprising. I don't know. I'm not feeling too hot about this box. Maybe my nickel box will be better. 2007. 83. I keep wanting to find that 83 double die reverse. That would be pretty awesome. Well, Mr. Frank and his 83 reverse. He likes that one so much. Not gonna lie, a little bit jealous. Looks like I got an old weedy in here. Let's see what it is. Check this one. Nope. 1953. And it's garbage. And some of these coins, they're just tore up from the floor up. It's kind of a bad deal. I would really like to find another 88 with 89 reverse. That would be alright. Alright, sell one. Keep the other one for myself. Do you guys keep the 2017 Philadelphia's that you come across? That the 2017 Philadelphia with the P mint mark, that was a very sneaky by Philadelphia. Very, very sneaky. That's a 9. 2017, 2005, yeah, okay. Keeping them and re-rolling them. I had a buddy. I like this story. I had a buddy who said that he was gonna go visit his family back in Philly, and I'm like, hey man, will you do me a favor? Will you buy me a box of pennies while you're over there and bring it back? And I was totally serious because like they would have a better mix of, you know, Philadelphia minted coins than what we get over here. So I would have a chance at, you know, just a better mix of coins. And so he does. He buys me, and I told him, I was like, I'll give you money and everything, and you ship it back or you bring it back or whatever. And so he buys me a box of coins, and he comes back and he says, man, I hope this is worth it, because, you know, I went through security and, you know, I had this big this box in my carry-on, and since it rang up as like a solid object, TSA had to like search me and tear apart this box to see what was in it. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. So he gives me this box, and I give him the money. I'm like, this is gonna be cool, and I open it up. I'm like, no way. The box that he got happened to be a brand new box of 2017 Philadelphia's. So I still have, I think I sent out a couple of rolls, but basically I have an entire box of 2017 P mint mark brand new rolls, almost a full box. I'm like, that is just awesome. So yes, it was absolutely worth it. So I happened across a 2000, I think a 15 or 16 box, and I kept that one as well. I think it's 2015. So I have a full box of that too. No, 16s. They're 16s. So I have a full box of those. The biggest thing about the circulation aspect is that it all depends on where you live. Because you have some areas like the Mid-East that you can have a lot of Philadelphia before the Denvers even get rolled out. Where I'm at, here on the West Coast, the the vast majority of coins are Denver minted coins. Um, so it's a lot harder to find some of the coins. Like I did a nickel series for a while, and it was only during that nickel series that I actually found my first and second 2009 Philadelphia. But at that point, I had already gone through, um, boxes and boxes and boxes, and I almost always find the 2009s, um, Denvers, but I never find the Philadelphias. So it's a special treat when I can find the Philadelphia version. And I have loads of the 2009s. Like I think I'm did I let's see, did I do that? I thought there was one that I actually have an entire. Oh yeah, I think it's this one. Let me check. Yeah. Um, I have an entire roll of 2009 Denvers that I put together in one of my 3D printed tubes. I didn't mark it, and I still have more in my little box because I put all of um the dateless buffaloes and the 2009s, just in one of those little tray sort of things. Oh, sorry, 1 second. All right, my bad. I don't know. I'm having just a hard time with my allergies right now. I always have to have a fan going because the stagnant air is terrible, and I got a fan right behind me. Um, and it's just not working quite yet. So I took my medicine, I think, just this morning, but it's gonna take a couple of days for it to all the way kick in. 88. I'm really hoping to find some more of these double die. Delicious on 99. I'm getting a decent amount of wheats though. 44. I rolled 100. That should have gotten a jackpot. Let me check. Is that roll? Rolled 2. I see rolled 2. Rolled 59. Rolled 100. So that would be gamble. Oh. Yes, if I had that turned on, which apparently I do not have jackpot turned on. So let me turn jackpot on, because that would be, you know, one of those things for me to do and stuff. By default, but you can change that number. I know MSMB. It's. Ugh. I'm trying, man. It's like I don't feel like bad, but I definitely don't feel like 100%. I'm like maybe like a 75% mark. So yeah, you can imagine what I feel like and what I sound like when I'm just really just not having it. I sound way worse than I do now. Looking for double up reverse. Name it. 93, 80, 2015. Yes. Since it wasn't activated, you'll need to roll another 100. I really wouldn't mind finding another 2003 double die reverse, especially the number 1. I think it is number 1 and number 3. Or an 84 double ear. Just saying. Oh, pickles. Well, that's. I hadn't even looked at that aspect of it. Honestly, Mary's. I don't stream that much, so I overlooked it. 1999, 2015, 2001, 2014 Philadelphia. So on the shields, I generally only look at the Philadelphias, because I can never find anything on them anyway. Especially not the Denvers. Especially not the Denvers. $1964 Denver. I'm sure everybody's had one of those boxes, if they coin roll hunt, where they are like halfway through the box and it's just garbage. Like the entire box is garbage. And you just want to take the box and just be like, okay, I'm done with this box, and just take the whole box back. I've had that. I've had that once, where the box was just so much garbage, so much hot garbage that, I just roll the whole box into the garbage. $1978. So on the 1979s on the Lincoln Sun series, pay attention to that mint mark. The reason is that there has been determined that there was a broken punch used on that 79. Sorry. So, and a lot of times it gets confused with, oh man. It gets confused with a repunchment mark. But it's actually a broken punch. And the way that you can tell that it's the broken punch is that the split will be in the bottom left. That's the one that they've determined that is actually the broken punch. Oh man, this wheat is just destroyed, and I can't even tell what year it is. Oh, I can't even tell. Oh no, what is it? It almost looks like a 1939 or something. Oh, poor guy. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry you got destroyed. I'll show you guys this coin. Check this out. Poor guy, what happened to you? And it's like the exact same on the back. It's like, no. I can tell it's a wheat, but that's it. I'll hold on to that. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. 77. 2007. Road rash. Yeah, that's what it kind of looks like. Kind of looks like he just got beat up or something. It was, Abe got mugged or something. I have found a minor double die on the reverse of the 2005. 2003, 2000. '74, '92, and if you guys ever look at so I've got this 1969. It's got a die chip in the 9. But the overall coin is just kind of bleh. So, do I keep it? Or do I toss it back? This would be something that I would generally toss back. Let me get it right there. See that fat die chip in the 9? I got a small book that I put these in, and they're just filled dates. Cause something like this, like I would probably put into just a coin tube, and then when I had enough of them, I would just sell them because I mean, they're cool to some people, I guess. It's a penny. It's a penny. ...2002, 1981, 1963. I would like to find the obverse 63 RPM or double die. $1988. Let's check reverse, and nope. Dang it. I really want to find another one of those 88s. Those are just really neat to find. Really neat to find. So if you guys are searching pennies, what do you guys look for? Is there something specific that you only look for? Because I remember there was a short while that I was only looking for 82s and 83s for I don't know, whatever reason I was looking for them. Got something funky going with the T and the obverse. Anything weird. Okay. But what do you define as weird? I don't know enough about coins to know the errors. MSNB, that's exactly how I started. I used to actually have, before I destroyed my desk up here, I had boxes, the penny boxes, and I had one for each decade, and I would just sort them and throw them in there, and then I would go through each box, and compare every single and sort them out by year stacks. So, you know, this is 81, 82, 83, 84, and I would have Philly, Denver, and San Francisco. And then I would then use, like, go on to Wexler's or coppercoins.com and look at every single year, every single mint mark, for any kind of errors. Yeah. And I went through that. I went through months of that before I got to the point where, you know, I could go through a box and just sort through the years that I wanted to look at, and know that, okay, on 73, I'm looking for doubling, I'm looking for RPM, I'm looking for doubling on the date, and I look at those pickup points right away, and if anything catches my eye, then I know that I need to look closer. Otherwise, I just move on to the next. But it's taken me several months to get to that point. You having fun there, GB? I've found some really interesting. Like my oldest coin that I've found was an 1882 Indian head in a penny box. That was really cool. Um, the as far as sorting them in boxes, that's what I went through. Um, I always had a spot, and I always bounced them for to see if it was if it was copper or not. But now I don't weigh anything other than 82s and 83s, and I have this handy scale right here that I got from Ken. I like this one better than my other one, because this has more decibel places. But I mean, whatever. It's however you want to do it. But I like this one. That this is one of the ones that Ken sells. So if you can get one of these from Ken, then definitely get one from Ken because I like these better. Ken PV, yes. The one and only. I have a loop, I just don't use it. Just because I use my eyes on my USB scope, but don't forget to weigh your 89 and 90s. I don't even weigh those. I could, but I don't. 68, 64. Let's see. That's probably a. Check out this mint mark. Looks like that there's an RPM on it, but it could just be the way that it was polished. Because it's only on one side of the D. No. Not gonna worry about that one, unless it's got something else on it. 1996. I do also want to find. There's a 90. Is it 95 or 96? There's like a big thing on the reverse. I can't remember what it is. Denver. I mean, but that's, look, as far as the weighing thing, if you could go through and have a system where you can weigh, you know, several coins at one time, then that would be ideal. In a sense that, so if you put a handful of coins on a handful of coins on the thing, and the weight came up to either a 0.5 or a 0, that you knew that there was no copper in that zinc thing. CJ, have you thought about selling rolls when you go through them also? Like, what kind of rolls? I guess I'm not following. Water. The liquid of life. Oh, like other shows? I've thought about it, but the problem would be I would not be able to do it often enough for it to really make sense for me. But like I don't live stream very much. Like I think this is the first time that I've done a live stream in I couldn't even tell you, probably weeks. I mean, I know it's been at least probably about a week that I've uploaded a video. I'm behind on getting my videos uploaded, but I mean, I'm not against it. I don't feel like I could put forth a show like that. It is just me, and I don't know. I feel like that puts too much pressure on the situation. I mean, I would love to get 1,000 subscribers and have, when I do live streams, having 30, 40, 50, 60 people come in, and we have I have a good show, talk about some stuff, get some stuff done, blah blah blah. Like I would love that, because I would feel like I'm that 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 I've done something significant. But I do not have the subscribers for that kind of situation. So I just continue, doing what I like to do. I like to sit here and look at coins. I like to talk about coins. I like to research coins. I like to 3D print, and I feel like that's what this channel should be based on. Now, as far as like the donation aspects and stuff like that, I have PayPal. I mean, if people want to donate to me, that's fine. They can do that. But I'm not at this time. I'm not going to have that as a part of this channel. It's just me. I like having. I mean, right now I kind of do. I like having a channel that it's quiet. I mean, there's a lot of conversations that can go on, and it doesn't get super complicated. I would like, for more than 7 people to show up, but you know, I'm not worried about it because I just do me. You know, I don't have to worry about anybody else. I just do me. So, but I am trying to get out there and get some more subscribers. You know, being active in other channels. Trying to. Um, And the activity thing is what really gets me, because the one thing that I like to do is, you know, while I'm listening in on a channel or whatnot, you know, I go through coins, or I work on projects. Like that's what I'm doing during that time. So I know that I'm not very active in other channels. Um, yeah, especially right now, there is a lot of people at work, and I would 100% understand that. And that's why I wasn't expecting a lot of people to even show up today. Um, but you know, I just wanted to push the button and then see what happens. Um, 64. There's something going on there. Nope, okay. Work and school. Yeah, I mean, and this is a really odd time for me to stream, just because I would normally also be at work, but since I feel like bleh today, then this is where I'm at. See, the sad part is that I made that macro, and to add 10, and I was gonna do another one that was like 50 and 100, but now I can't remember how to do it. So 10 it is. Um, the thing with live streams, though, depending on what you want to do with your channel, though, the thing with live streams is generally where you are going to get your total view hours, um, versus the number of subscribers, as far as I could tell. Videos, unless. Okay, David. That would be really cool. I mean, because it really depends on the channel, on the content, about the videos, because, like, you could put up videos that are, you know, 4 or 5 minutes long, and, you know, it could get, you know, if it has good content, and you can get a lot of views. Like, there's one that I don't understand how it's still getting as many views as it is the video that I did on the Eisenhower dollar. You know, and I was going through analytics about, like, is there some keywords or something that I used, and I still can't figure it out, but still to this day, that is my biggest, most popular video. It has the highest amount of views, highest amount of comments, and, like, I'm still getting hits on it, and I can't figure out why. It's about 6 minutes long. It's like 6 or 9 minutes long, and it just keeps on getting views, and I can't figure it out, because I want to take that, and maybe that's more of the video types that I should be doing, is the short informational ones, like the Eisenhower, just on different topics. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. Like, there's one that I wanted to do on. It's called centered planchets, and it's basically an improperly annealed planchet, that in different that are dark. So I was kind of looking around for, different things, different information that I can find on, the different things about centered planchets. They are oh, excuse me, hold on. They are something that can be identified on a graded slab. There's your jackpot, Mary. So it is something that is readily identified through PCGS and AGC. So I thought that it would be really interesting to do a video on that, because I think people see it and they just think, oh, it's just a dirty coin, but it could possibly actually be something else. One topic I don't see a lot of videos is the rotten coins. Well, but that you have to take into account what people want to look for, though. They want to look for videos on valuable coins, or rare coins, or super coins. Like you wouldn't be able to title that video junk coins. Like, people are probably not going to watch that. Now, if you went through and kind of explained maybe the different stages, if you went through the stages of, going from like a BU coin like this one to, something that's completely destroyed like this, like I can see something like that, and that would kind of tie into coin grading and understanding why coins are, the grades that they get, and what that actually means. And that's just an educational thing. That's just a learning. This two has a double die on the floor. So, 1980 for double die reverse. Another idea that I have for a video would be like the colored strikes, because there's one that especially was kind of neat, because it showed, I don't remember where I saw it, like somewhere on Newsweek, or not Newsweek, Coin Week or something, where they had a picture of a of a die collar, and it was cracked, and then they showed a coin that was similar to what would have been what the coin would have looked like if it was struck in that collar, and it had two like indents on the edges. So I think Lemonhead says this, but there's three sides to a coin. There's the obverse, there's the reverse, and then there's the edge. Because the edge can, if you have rim edge dings and damage, that can reduce the overall grade over the overall value of the coin. And to find something like a something with a reeded edge, or something like that has been struck in with a collar that that is broken, that's gonna leave stuff on the edges. And if you're just looking in the front and the back, you won't see that broken edge on the pieces on the edge. So it would be equivalent to finding basically a die crack, but on the edge. And I think if those are found and attributed, then it helps kind of lay the timeline of the dies in the equipment. Ooh. Because that's what some people, they're really attributing the ooh, smokes. That is a beautiful large date. Look at that. That thing is just beautiful. Large date. There might be something on this one. I'll put that on the side. And some people really like dig into the history and go to the archives and find about how many dies were used, and how often they replaced them, because there are some things that especially the earlier coins, that they can, based off of what's on that coin, what die breaks, what die cracks, die chips, those kind of things on the coins, they can tell exactly what die pairing, what die marriage it came from, and also about when it was actually struck, during the minting process. Because if you know that there are 13 pairs of dies, so there's a total of 26 dies, and you know that this particular coin has this die crack, which is associated with die marriage 12, we'll say, that that it was struck that it was struck later in the year, or later in the minting process for that particular coin. Well, there's a lot of other factors that can make that one important. Maybe that particular die pairing was only used to strike, let's see. If that die pairing was only used to strike, X number of coins, we'll say 1,000 coins, before the dies got changed, or one of the dies broke, and then they had to change dies. So the fact that coin with those indicators is, realistically only one of, 1,000 coins that have ever been minted. That's, it's that is one of the biggest aspects of why coins can be as valuable as they are. When you have something like that, when you have, you can still have a coin that has a mintage of 1.7 million, but then when you actually look at some of the features and some of the diagnostics of some of the coins, you could have a coin that that to find another coin just like that one that has those diagnostics on it is 1 in 1,000. So that would make the value of that coin much higher, because it's not a 1 in 1 million. There's it's common basically, or trillion or billion or whatever. You have a 1 in 1,000 coin. And then that aspect of it is more the neat aspect when you have like a 20-cent piece, one of less than 5,000 total surviving specimens. That's why the 20-cent pieces, if you can get them for anything less than $100 in in good condition, then you're making a profit. Because your average 20-cent piece will go between 100 up to 150 in basically good or XF condition, and then go up from there. Not XF, not good, fine condition. Yeah, something like that. I suck at grading. I can find stuff, I just can't grade it. It's a skill that I have not mastered yet. 1986. But I think with that information, that's why that we as a community need to have conversations about grading. We need to have conversations about rarity. We need to have conversations about quality. We need to have conversations about my brain just gave up again. About the reasons that make coins valuable. Not that they are or are not valuable, because that's what we are already talking about. Is that you either have a valuable coin or not. If it's a double dive, it's not a double dive, it's machine doubling. We've already discussed that. That is an ongoing discussion, and that changes with just the knowledge threshold of collectors. But I think that we can take that a step further and really talk and have a conversation about the other factors on the why. Why is this coin valuable? We know that it is because it's a 1995 double die. Okay, what makes it valuable? Well, that significance of a 1995 double die, that is it's like a double or triple separation of the devices. That was an error when that die was created. And that was an error that should have been caught, because of the standards of, minting and checking of the dies. There was some quality aspect that was missed, or somehow it got by, or whatever the cause. Now, once that error was determined, then ideally that those dies that were in error were removed from service and corrected. Now the cool thing would be is that if you could determine which die caused a particular error, and then bought that die, even if it was defaced, like they have to do. Um, but what if you could determine that a particular double die, and you were able to purchase one or get your hands on one of those dies, that was one of the ones that had this particular error? How cool would that be? Because that would be a valuable set, um, of historical pieces that you have. You know, one of the coins that is the double die, and then the die, the actual die that struck that coin. I bet you if you could put something like that together, that would be worth, you know, 10, 11 times more than just having the coin itself. And that would be fantastic. But I think we cannot underestimate the importance of knowledge, and teaching of these aspects of coin hunting, and finding coins, and you know cherry picking, and like all these things. Like there's reasons for all of this, and I think that we as the coin community, um, we need to not forget that, and we need to drive that knowledge, in the community. So that's, I mean, that's why I really enjoyed, the last coin seminar weekend that Ken had. Um, that was really a cool thing to have a bunch of different people, talking about different topics, because everybody, presents in a different way, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that the more that we can teach different topics, um, makes the overall, knowledge level increase as a community. But it helps that person become a better, a better learner, if that makes sense. Like if, because I've always heard that, the best way to learn something is to teach it, and you know that would be one of the biggest things about our coin information, is that, um, that is sometimes the best way, is to do the research and to teach other people, because that helps you become a better student. Hey, Chad. Yeah, it's all about the information, because there's all of these references, um, like the red book, the, cherry picker's guide, and I love all of that. I love having all of that information, um, um, at my fingertips. The fact that I have Wexlers on a bookmark tab, and I can have all that. Um, but somebody had to figure out a way to put that together, and that's important. So it's, using information like that. What else can we do? what else can we do by taking, Ken and his thing about taking, basically one, taking all of the indexes and putting them together into one, having one consistent index, um, for all, for, you know, um, call it the coin codex is the best way that I can think of putting a name on it. Um, that it would, it would take all of those things that we know, mintages. It would have, it would have known errors. It would have varieties. It would have, um, materials and all of that stuff. And it would all have that in one location, one resource. Like, how awesome would that be? And people learn differently as well. I mean, people learn differently, um, teaching stuff, and they learn differently, um, because like for me, um, I'm a kind of a half visual, half like, um, kinetic, not kinetic, tactile. I have to do it. Like, I have to do it myself. I have to see it and then do it. That's how I learn. That's how I learn the best. Now, other people, they could just watch you on a stream, or a video and say, "Oh, okay, well that's how it's done." Like YouTube tutorials, like stuff like that. I 100% agree with that. Um, some people have to hear it, like it's audio for them, and that's how they learn. Sometimes, you have to be told about it, and then you have to go look it up and see it and read it for yourself. Everybody's different, so I think that if we can find a bunch of different approaches, to bring some of this knowledge out into the community, that is definitely the way they do it. And the coin seminar thing is is a fantastic idea, because it brings different aspects of the entire coin community out. Now, there are people that just do pennies. There are people that just do nickels. There are people that just do half dollars. But the thing is that, like, you know, what if you were, maybe if you knew about pennies, but then maybe, you wanted to start into half dollars. Oh, where would you go for that? Do you know where to look for that? Um, and this puts a lot of different people out in front of the entire community and saying, okay, I know nickels, and that's all I know. Maybe I want to get into half dollars. Well, I know Mantic. I know they do half dollars, and I can go watch their channel and start learning from their channel. Or maybe it's pennies, or kind of different things. Maybe I want to learn about values of coins. Well, Ken has an auction. Lemonhead has an auction. Robert Lawson has an auction. Cheapskate Coins has an auction. This puts a lot of people out, kind of in the same area, where you kind of have a, like, a marketplace. But the other thing is that then you can learn what else is out there. And I think there's a lot of people that they have no idea, that there's so much more out there. Like, everybody knows, hey, we got nickels, we got pennies, we got half dollars, we got dimes, we got dollar coins. But what else is out there?
Did you know that we have 2 cents? Did you know that we have 3 cents? Did you know that they had a large cent? Did you like a 20 cent that it was only minted for 4 years? Like all of these pieces. The information available to me as a new collector is overwhelming. It will take time to get more confident, but better than what they had 20 years ago. The biggest thing about what they had 20 years ago is that they all of the information that they had 20 years ago was in some old guy's head, and just take that for what it is. I'm not making fun of anybody, because it was the the knowledge that that guy gained over the last 40 years. And so now more of those old guys that are actually putting this information together into books, um, like like the Red Book, or like the Cherry Picker's Guide, like the was that Haxby's, the Coins of Canada one. And then you have some of this information from the books that is now getting onto an online resource where you can have like a computer, just like what I have. I have my USB scope right there. Ow. I have my laptop right here. And if I pull up a coin on my scope, and then I can look at an online reference that is available right now to confirm what I have versus flipping through a book. And that makes finding these things easier. But the other thing that it really sets up, thank you, that it really sets up is that when you have that quick reference that you can find out what stuff is easier, then you can take that knowledge and start applying it towards something else. So you know that Lincoln pennies, Lincoln cents, were struck in copper up until late 1982. We know that. And beyond that, the rest of 1982 and 83 and beyond was a zinc planchet with basically a copper shell on it. We know that. So we know that when we are looking at anything in like the 80s, one thing that we're going to find, and even into the early 90s, one thing that we're going to find is split plating, where that copper plating on the outside has split, and that exposes the zinc core. And a lot of people will mistake that as a new person because they don't know yet, and that's not their fault. That they don't know that is, unless you know that the coins were made of copper up until late 1982, 1983, that they were struck in copper-plated zinc. So, but then when you start take that step and take that information and take it one step further, right? So you know about mint marks, you know about repunch mint marks, and you know what they look like because you have the quick reference of the scope, of a scope or a phone, and the internet, right? So we take that, and now we can apply that to any coin. If we understand, okay, and there may be differences like Morgan's. You have the CCs, right? The CCs and the O's and the S, and so that's going to be a little bit different. But you can still take that information and look at a mint mark and say, hey, this looks odd. Could it be a repunched mint mark? And that is one of those things when you're looking at something that maybe you're just looking at to maybe get a Morgan or whatever. And if you didn't know about mint marks or repunch mint marks, then you would only see that at the face value, not what else could be there, because there is a very light one that is, it's one of the what is it, the O over CC or something like that, where if you just saw that it was a Morgan mint mark, and then that's it, that's where you stopped. Okay, that's like maybe a $20 coin, $25 coin. Now take that information about repunched mint marks and what that process is, and then extrapolate that into this Morgan dollar. Well, you look at this Morgan dollar and you say, hey, I want to take a look at the mint mark just in case that there's a repunched mint mark. And you look at this mint mark and you see outlines of a couple of C's behind the O. Well, now you have an OMM, an over mint mark. And that O over CC now becomes like 10 times more valuable because of the situation, right? Because the over mint marks is, so there was dies that were destined for Carson City, that for whatever reason Orleans didn't have enough, they ran out, whatever. So they had one of the dies from Carson City sent to that had already been struck with the Carson City mint mark, sent to Orleans, and then they have to basically polish it out and strike in the O. Well, if they didn't get all the way polished out, then the Carson City mint mark is going to be left, and that makes it more rare, which makes it more valuable. So you take that information on how you can find something that is not necessarily, I mean, that particular one is in a cherry picker's guide. But what if you can find something that is not in one of those guides because it hasn't been looked at yet? That's where it starts to get really interesting. Is what if you could take, an unknown over mint mark on a Lincoln penny or a those Carson cities are not cheap. So what does that do to the value of a Carson City mint mark on an Orleans struck coin? Well, it's still an Orleans struck coin, but the fact that that you can attribute it to one particular die, or there may be a couple, one particular die or one of a few dies that Carson City sent to Orleans to strike those coins. And taking that information and taking it one step further, maybe you found a penny or a nickel that has a repunched mint mark, or an over mint mark that hasn't been discovered yet because nobody's looking for it because there's not one listed yet. Well, what if you found one? Like, what would that mean to you as a person saying, I found a significant aspect, a significant discovery that changes the entire culture of the coin community? Because now, that the avalanche that happens after that, so it gets in the books, and now more people are looking for that. But you found the first one. I just think it would be neat. I have you can get other denominations that were actually struck in Carson City. It doesn't have to be a Morgan. There's some dimes. There's some half dollars. There's a bunch of other denominations that were also struck in Carson City, that you can get for a decent price. Not like a $250 Morgan dollar, but maybe a $15 dime. Or I think I picked one up. I picked up a dime. It was 1875, 1876, with a CC reverse, below the ribbon, if I remember correctly. And I think I bought that for under $10. I think it was like $8. It's not in like super nice shape or anything, which I don't expect it to be. But it's still neat to have that particular um design, that particular coin. I don't know. I lost my train of thought, and it's gone. Squirrel. It would tie you forever to the history contributed. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But that all starts with one piece, and that's the knowledge. And the one thing that kills me, and I will never say that I've never done this, but what kills me as a coin enthusiast, is the people that say, I have this coin. What is it? How much is it worth? Where can I get my money? It's like they don't care about the history of the coin. They don't care about what causes this coin to be valuable. They just want whatever coin they have in their hand, that this is the valuable one. It's worth $100. I want my $100. And it's like they don't understand that's not how that works, actually. It's not at all how that works. How that works is that you find that, one, you figure out exactly what it is. And then you find out, like grading, you have to figure out what the market value is. And then you have to find somebody to buy it. That's how that works. And they just get so stuck on, well, this coin is a $5,000 coin. I saw it online. And you look at it and it's like, this road rash of a coin that you can't even tell what kind of coin it is, and you're like, that's not worth $5,000. Like, that's worth actually nothing. And that's the part that kills me, is that there's a lot of people that are just stuck on, this is a $100 coin, I want my $100. I have a 1965 quarter, what's it worth? A quarter. Maybe more. Depends on condition. I have a 1965 quarter that is in AU. $16,000 each. Yes. And so I keep harping back to the coin seminar weekend, because it's just it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do for the community, because it makes those people that are presenters stronger as coin collectors, but it also increases the overall value of the community. And that's important, because then we can move beyond the what's this coin, because there are so many error and variety Facebook things that I have to either mute or leave, because every single post is, what's this coin and how much is it worth? And it's like we have some of these great-minded people that are wasting their time and efforts to tell this person who doesn't want to listen to them that their coin is worth face value, and they can't accept that as an answer. Now, what if those type of people are um, putting forth their effort into what else can there be? What else can we find in a Jefferson nickel? What else, you know, what else is out there that we haven't really touched yet, that we're missing on, that could just be staring at us in the face, but we don't know because we're too busy over here telling John the goofball, your coin is worth exactly what it's worth in your hand. Like, I think it's kind of just a wasted effort, and that's sad. Yeah, the hobby is about the coins, but the coins are only the coins when you have the knowledge about them. And it's building that knowledge base, it's building that community that makes these coins what they are. They could be something as simple as, um, a 1968 Denver minted Lincoln cent. But then we start this coin as a conversation piece. So what happened in 1968? Why is there a mint mark on it? Is it an RPM? Is there a field date? And that a simple coin can then be a conversation piece, not just a coin. When you're talking about the 50s, some of the other things that you can find are, um, repunch mint marks and double dies and die deterioration, and like there's all of these different things that can, that we can start having a better conversation on, not just this is my coin, how much is it worth, where's the machine that I put it in to get my money. Like, it it kills me. It kills me a lot. So, and it's just those things that just kind of really gets me. Which, I can't fault them for asking those questions, because there may be somebody who takes that information and actually learns something from it. When we say, anybody of, in the group says, well, that's PMD, post mint damage, and they're like, okay, well, what's post mint damage? It's like, okay, well, anything outside the mint, it's damage, no extra value, right? And they take that and they say, okay, well, if this is no, ooh, hold on, sorry, I have what looks like a retained cud on this Lincoln cent. I'm gonna save that for later. I have a 1976 quarter. Should I get a credit? No, stop. Just stop. That we can, um, I can't fault them, because I kind of started that same way too, but like I did a lot more reading, and some of the questions that I was asking was a little bit beyond what I was reading about. So I had to learn to go to a couple of different sites. I had to, learn more about how the coins were made, how these things started to occur, and how these things um, happened. And then that's kind of what took me to like the next level, is that okay, so when I look at this 1969 Denver, and it's got all of these lines that make it look like it's doubling, but they're flat. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means um, that's machine doubling. So what is machine doubling versus regular doubling? And there's all kinds of guides everywhere that tell you and show you pictures, but yet every single time that um um yeah, it's like every single time, that question still comes up. What is deterioration doubling? What is machine doubling? What is a double die? Because it goes back to that some people are just stuck on, well, this is a valuable coin because I said it is. Well, no, that's not how it works. It's not how this works at all. So if we can build that community and we can increase the knowledge base, then we can start finding out about different things. And we can start talking about 20 centers. And we can start talking about trimes. And we can start talking about all of this other stuff that we just haven't touched yet. Because we're still stuck on this 1965 quarter. But I think I really, really think that, like all of the information videos, all of the live streams, especially like again Mantix, that he goes through and he talks about, what what he's looking for and why that they are looking for um those particular ones, like cut errors and retain cuts and die cracks and doubling and um, um, design creep and like all of this stuff. Too many in the groups don't give us links to questions, just answer yes or no. And exactly right there, Jeff, is because that's all some of the people even have time for, because it's the same question that has been asked 3,427 times, and nobody wants to look back. I'm not saying this is you, but I'm just saying that some people won't even look back or try to search for the answer. They just want somebody to tell them what the answer is and not actually do the work. But that's why I like watching these videos, and the coin seminar weekends. I'm really hoping that I'm gonna get in it this round, this round that's coming up in November, I believe, early November. Um, because I would like to expand on some of the topics, or maybe really talk about something that hasn't been touched before. Um, like maybe like die clashes, or centered planchets, or something kind of just really outside the box. Just because I don't feel like that some of it's really touched. I mean, they're kind of obscure. Like the centered planchet one is kind of obscure. It's really not talked about, not much at all. But I think it is an aspect of the nature of the coins that we do have to have a conversation about. We do have to talk about that. because that is something that exists, and we should have some kind of information about it. November 9th through 12th. Thank you, Ken. So I would definitely like to get involved in um, the next coin seminar. The last one was I thought was very, very well done. There was a lot of people that brought a lot of information from a lot of different avenues, you know, at different levels of coin collecting, and that's important. True, but if they're really interested, they will appreciate the sources to investigate. If not, they were just looking for quick cash. Um, yeah. Um, and that's just really situational. I've had a number of times on several different forums where I gave an answer to somebody. They didn't like that answer, and they wanted to give me, you know, the resources that you know argued their point, and you know I just have to stop at that point. So I'm like, you know I I can give you links to, you know, what you're looking for, but if you're going to, you know, use another link of information as, you know, to argue your point, then maybe you need to look at your coin a little bit better, because if you have to argue about what it is, you probably don't understand the coin enough. Like, and I mean that in a way that is not demeaning. I mean that in a way that is just, in my experience, factual. That there's a lot of people that want to make it a valuable coin versus being told that it's not. That is true. It's a fair bet. Somebody they know or trust personally said the coin was somehow special or valuable. Chess says disappointing people get defensive a lot, and and but as another person in the community, hold on, I gotta think about where I'm going with that. They don't know the person answering the question in group, but it contradicts what their buddy said. If you stare at a coin long enough, you can find what you were looking to see. That's also true. Um, yeah, I mean, all of it. Chad, I'm in retail as well, and yeah, no, it still sucks. But the thing is that, like, that goes back to the knowledge base that um, that I feel that we have to encourage, and that we have to build, and that is only going to make the coin community stronger and smarter and better, is, you know, by each, you know, by everybody putting out what they think, you know, what they, you know, in information videos, live streams, you know, whatever it is, because it bolsters the community. And if you just have one person doing all of it, then, you know, that's only one avenue, or um, one facet of experience, and that's, you know, and that's fair. and there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't I don't uh, I don't fault them for that. But I think that the 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 conglomeration of multiple sources of information is extremely beneficial. Any questions about a coin? Ask Ken. Yes, in the sense that I have looked at everything that I know about, and that if I do ask a question, I will reference what I have already looked at. Because the last thing I want to do is waste Ken's time or anybody else's time um, looking at the same things that I already looked at. Maybe they could look at it in a different way and find it. But I want to make sure that I've exhausted everything else that I currently know about before I take it to that next um, that next step. Chad says, "Gotta run to the bank, grab some change. My wife is getting into the hunt. She found her first walker last night." Well, congratulations to your wife, man. Finding a walker is pretty awesome.
What was I doing? Oh, almost down the bottom.
Oh, she's addicted now. It's always that first one. I had a box at $50, and that I got kind of on a whim. Like I knew that I wanted to search through it for silver and stuff like that, and it was like the box that pretty much did me in. I had like 18 silvers out of it. I had, you know, a handful of proofs. I had all of this stuff, and then it was just that one box that is like your unicorn box. Like you'll never get another box that ever um will will match that one, and that's I got that one, and every box since then has been garbage. But the one thing is that I still get a lot of NIFCs and sometimes proofs. That is one thing that I do get a lot.
Josh says he's back. Hey, Josh. I get all calls. It may be fluke $200 in customer wrap, but I'm gonna check what they have left. Yeah, that's perfect.
Six 2001, 1989,
68.
2016, 2002. So and it's all this information on why, one of the biggest reasons why that I have been working on like some of the 3D aspects. So I finished. This is this nickels or is this pennies? This is pennies. So this is pennies, and what this is that I was actually watching one of Ken's live streams that he did on grading, and I was like, I could make something like that. Like the pieces of paper that he was using, I was like, I could make something like that in 3D. So that's what I did. So I have this one in both the Lincoln or the cent size and the nickel size, and what's really neat about it is that, like Lemon always says, you know, there's three sides to a coin. There's the obverse, the reverse, and then the edge. And this has the four little tabs on it, kind of like in the holders. Let's see if I can get up close. Um, bloop. It's got the 4 little tabs on it so that you can put a coin in there. It's going to hold it in there, and then you could flip it over and look at the reverse and still look at the rim on both the obverse and the reverse. So you have good, very good, fine, very fine, extra fine, and then AU. So I have this in both the cent size and the nickel size. I think I might expand that up, but this is where I'm gonna start with. But it's just one of those ideas that I was like, because Ken had pieces of paper that had, good, very good, fine. I was like, I can make something, because now you can take this, build your set, just like in his video, build your grade scale, and then when you're done, matching up your coins, you just set it aside. You put it in a little currency holder or something or another. And then when you got more coins, you just pull back out, set it down, and you just match it up. And it's genius. It's beautiful. But I got that idea watching Ken's stream, so I have to give credit to him for doing that. And I think that the tabs actually worked out really well. I was actually kind of surprised. I thought the tabs were going to be hot garbage. Hot garbage. So the other thing, so I've got stuff like that. I've got the inserts, but as far as like the educational stuff, going back to these, these dies. So then, when Ken does his videos, he can play with, the idea would be that he can play with the dies and be like, okay, this is, this is how the machine stamps the coins out, so that when you have something that's misaligned, matter like this right here, this is what causes it. I'd like to have Jeff. They were yes and no. I did have an issue with the design, but once I figured out one piece of it, then yes, then it became just a beautiful, wonderful piece of good stuff. Chat says, I'd like to have one of them with an individual coin holder on a stick, so that I could use it instead of my fat fingers for holding it under a microscope. The best part is that, like, if you got one of these, I have these. You could just cut this. Like, this is thin enough that you could just cut this with a razor blade and just snap it off. So if you wanted to take this and make it individual ones, done. Or I could just print them separately, but you could just get one of those, and then you would have your entire grade scale. It's smart. I thought about it. Oh, you could print one with a cool handle on it. Is the hammer die and anvil dial the same size overall? Yes, they should be the same size. Because what's gonna happen is that they're gonna fit into a collar, and then when the two come together with the collar in the center, it should keep all of that aligned. As far as I know, I don't know. I just know some things. I'm just a computer guy. I'm not a coin guy. That's Ken's thing. I'm just a coin guy. I'm not a computer guy. Okay, here we go. But yeah, what Ken was saying is that when you actually have you know, replicas of the dies, then you can really start getting into all of the other errors that we can find on the coin. Um, like I had showed, where's it at? It is right here. Yeah. You know, something that's misaligned like this one. Um, that's misaligned, and then understand, you know, the process of what causes that coin, and all of these other things that we talk about, like brokerage errors and cap dies and all of this other stuff, that we can then really get into. Like, this is what causes those particular, you know, those things. Kent says, "How to get my camera to? I'm a coin guy." Ken, I've actually thought about it, and I think it has to do with the lighting. That a different setup on lighting may help you, because I know with mine, because I have like the light from my screen, and then I have my LED desk lamp that kind of faces like almost a 45 to me. That if I turn it so that it's like dead on with the light, that's when the camera picks up that focus. Or having a dark, you know, a solid colored background, is also one thing. But Jeff, Walmart cameras don't help the situation. Yeah, yes, I would agree. But it may be just something in some kind of lighting that can be changed. I don't know. It's all situational. It's not it's not exact science by any means. 2002, 69 Denver. 69 Denver. Nope. Let's see. 2002. Looking at the reverse on the floor. Four. Got another Canadian here. Years it? 1982. There you go. I'm gonna have to really sort these Canadians. Here. Piles on piles of them. 1972 Denver. That looks fine. That's definitely fine. 2002, 2001, 2015, 2014, 2016, 15, 2006. Just pulled MS65 Plus 1956 nickel. I thought it was proof, but no estimate mark. That's cool when you can find those really nice coins. Who won the big show? Who won the big show? Oh, Lawson. That's right. Yeah, leave it to the coin guy to win the coin related the coin related question. I was thinking it was Lincoln, but I think that was the last one. $1969S. 1969S. No W. 1997. Nothing on the ear. Reverse. No. 2007, 79. 82, 2006. Wish my wife luck. They had $170, so grab me a box of nickels. I think if you wanted to test out different banks, that you could go in and just get. I think it's like like $40 of different coinage just to see what you can get in some of the things. But what I found is you could tell them, it's like, listen, I'm going through a box of nickels. I'm looking for whatever, and just see what you get, because um, my first couple of boxes weren't that bad, but then I really started getting into the fact that every single box I'm getting a buffalo, every single box I'm getting a silver, every single box I'm getting a 2009, like consistently. That really made me figure out that nickels in my area are not searched. So like I just need to just continue doing nickels, and I'm gonna find everything. And I have found a ton. 2023, 2012, double in there. It was 255. 1972. Letters are too thin. Get some water. Yummy. 2000. I really haven't found too much in this box of pennies. I'm actually kind of surprised. Usually I find, at least one or two decent things. Not a lot of wheats. No double dies. Even minors yet. So, I only got like 5 rolls left. So this might be one of the weaker boxes that I've had in a while. Which is, it's what it is. I'm not too concerned about it, because one, I've got a box of nickels that hopefully make up for it, or it's just the luck of the draw. But who knows? I may come across like I had a box that I went through, and it was particularly weak. But there was one good coin in there that was a 2004. It had the doubling on the reverse, like pretty strong doubling. So I was like, hey, that's cool. 1969. 2017, 86, 89. Still gonna find one of those weird different 89s. 75, 84. Thought I found doubled knees on Lincoln reverse on the 98. That would have been quite all right with me. Carbon spots. They need to come up with a process to get rid of carbon spots off of coins.
It's too many times I've run across these coins that are like, hey man, this is a great looking coin, and then it's got like a giant fat carbon spot, like right in the middle, off to the side. I'm like, well, no, it's worthless. Need some science, science majors or something to figure that one out. Found a lot of slanted knees and double kneecaps, but none on the columns. I have almost half a roll of doubling on the columns. I think one of my coolest finds was the 2006, where it's got the columns that are doubled, but it's like going across the bay. Those are really neat. Sorry, I'm getting text messages from work. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of like I was thinking about this one. On the topic that I was talking about earlier. So this is a 1965 quarter. No, I'm kidding. It's 1992. This is a 1992 quarter. And the overall strike looks very, very clean and very intact. Which you can see that, I mean, you can see across the face where the light is reflecting. And it's like a smooth, there's no like dings or stuff in it. That's got some spots. But if you actually look at the color on this one, let me see if I can get it. Like, look at the color on that. Like, it's like freckled. It's like speckled. So is that a... Hey, Hoosier. Is that a... What some people might call a sintered planchet? Is that environmental damage? Like, what is... what causes that? Hey guys, it is 3 o'clock right now. I gotta run and go get my son from school. So I hate to cut it short and kind of leave you guys hanging, but I was just coming on to go through some coins and ramble for a while. But if you guys have any questions, go ahead and send me an email. Email right below here. Thank you all for coming in. Hit the like button there-ish, somewhere right there. If you're watching this later and you like what you see, you want to talk about it some more, have a conversation, talk about coins, go ahead and hit the subscribe button over there. Subscribe to me, then hit the bell if you want to see when I post new stuff or I go live. And yeah, thanks for all coming, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks.